Good day everyone, welcome again to another episode of tax training. Today I will discuss to you guide on how to fill up BIR form 1701Q. No? So this is the quarterly tax return. The form 1701Q was enhanced on January 2018 on time for the compliance of Republic Act 10963 or the train law. No? So this BIR form 1701Q is the quarterly income tax returns for individual estates and trust, no? So, anong instruction po dito? Enter all required information in capital letters using black ink. Mark all applicable boxes, no? And X, 2 copies must be filed with the BIR and 1 held by the tax filer, no? So, 3 yung ating gagawin dito sa form na to. So, 2 para sa BIR, 1 para sa taxpayer. Line number 1 for the year, kung anong year po. And then yung quarter, first, second, and third, no? Kasi yung pagpa-file po nitong quarterly na income tax return, 3 beses po ito isang taon, no? First quarter lang, second quarter, at saka third quarter. Yung pang fourth quarter, hindi na po yan pinafile, sinasama na doon sa annual, no? Yung 1701 na lang, wala ng Q. Okay. Number 3 is amended return, yes or no. Kung wala pa kayo na-file na original na return, then ang ilagay mo dyan is no. Kasi kung amended, ibig sabihin, meron ka na na-file na iba pang return na unang na return, and then nag-amend ka, binago mo, nag-file ka ulit, no? Pagka amended return, i-check ninyo yung box ng yes, no? Part 1 is the background information on taxpayer or filer. So, line number 5 is your tax identification number. So, be sure na hindi po kayo nakakamali sa inyong tax identification number, no? And then, we have the RDO code. And then, we have the taxpayer filer or type, single proprietor ba siya o professional, estate, or trust. So, i-check po ninyo dito kung ano yung klase. Halimbawa, single proprietor, may business, then i-check po ninyo itong box ng single proprietor. Halimbawa naman professional o kaya estate yan, ibig sabihin namatay na yung may-ari pero hindi pa na-transfer yung mga property sa beneficiary at kumikita pa yung business, so magpa-file din ng return yung estate mismo nung namatay. And then the trust, no? Itong trust, ito yung mga trust na kumikita din. Halimbawa, trust fund, nilagay sa isang trust, may kita. So, filean din po yan ng income tax return. Alphanumeric tax code, line number 8. So, check po natin dito kung business income siya, graduated IT rates, or business income siya na 8% IT rate. No? And then, income from profession or graduated IT rates, or income from profession na 8% IT rate, no? Or mixed income siya, graduated IT rates, or mixed income na 8% IT rates, no? And then we have the taxpayer filer's name, no? So lagay diyan kung last name, first name, middle name, and then the individual estate or the trust, no? Pag trust naman for the account of, no, for first name, middle name, last name, no? And then line number 10, the registered address, no? Kung nag-iba ka na ng address, mag-update ka muna sa BIR using BIR form 1905. And then we have the date of birth po, and then the email address, no? And then the zip code. Line number 13, citizenship. Number 14, the foreign tax number kung meron. And then, line number 15, claiming foreign tax credits, yes or no. No? So, i-check nyo yung box kung meron o wala. Line number 16, the rate. No? Dito po sa rate, mamili na tayo dito ng method of deduction. No? So, yung unang box dito, nakalagay dyan yung rate. No? So, mamili ka kung graduated rate share per tax table, no? Page 2, and then a method of deduction. And then, kung ang pinili mo naman is itemized deduction, then i-check mo, or the optional standard deduction na OSD na 40%. Or Kung halimbawa naman yung pinili mo 8% on gross sales or receipts other than non-operating income. Ibig sabihin dito, pinili mo yung option rate. So, 4 na option po yung pwede ninyong piliin sa method of deduction. Pwede yung graduated rates, no? Pwede rin yung itemized deduction, pwede yung optional standard deduction, at saka yung 8% na option rate. So, ano po ang tanda natin dito sa 1701Q? Pagka ang pinili po ninyo sa first quarter pa lang ay optional standard deduction, makikerry na yan hanggang sa pag-file na po ninyo ng annual. Ganon din sa 8% na option rate. Kung halimbawa ang pinili nyo during the first quarter, chinek ninyo itong option 8% na option on gross sales or receipts, then hanggang sa pag-file na po kayo ng annual for the whole year period, yun na po yung deductions na ang gagamitin ninyo. Hindi yung first quarter, ang pinili nyo halimbawa is optional standard deduction. Pagdating ng second quarter, doon na kayo sa 8%. Pagdating ng third quarter, doon na kayo sa itemized. Hindi po yan pwede. No? Kung ano yung pinili mo during the first quarter, yan na yung gagamitin mo for the whole year. Pwede kang magpalit ulit the next year na po. No? Mag-check ka ulit ng bagong rate dito. And then, pagka nag-option rate ka naman na 8%, magpaalam ka sa BIR because babaguhin yung inyong certificate of registration, tatanggalin po yung percentage tax. Sino po ba yung pwede lang na mag-file or mag-opt dito sa 8% na option rate? Yun po yung may mixed income o kaya professional siya or may business income siya na 3 million and below. No? Kasi more than 3 million, di na po siya qualified dito sa 8%. Okay. Part 2 is the background information on spouse, no? So, pakilagyan, line number 17, the spouse TIN, and then the RDO code, and then the filer spouse type, kung single proprietor ba siya, professional, or compensation earner. And then, yung 80 niya is alphanumeric tax code, so mamili din dito kung ano yung nararapat niya na alphanumeric tax code. And then, fill up the spouse name, last name, first name, middle name. Citizenship, foreign tax number, and then kung nakiklaim din ba siya ng foreign tax credit. And then, mamili din po siya ng method of deduction, no? Kung applicable sa kanya. And then, the part 3 is the total payable. No? So, line number 26, you have to fill up the tax due. Ano itong tax due? Ito yung computation na gross sales mo, tapos binawas mo na yung mga deductions mo, equals the taxable income. And then, i-apply mo na yung rate, no? Yung table. So, yan po yung tax due. Less tax credit or payment, ito yung mga tax credits na nabayad na tax, no? Income tax. Kasi ang 1701Q po, income tax. So, do not be confused na pagdating na sa withholding, mamaya ang withholding mo is VAT, ibawas mo dito sa 1701Q, hindi po pwede. So, dapat ang ibawas mo dito, income tax lang din na withholding. And then, we have the line number 28, tax payable or overpayment. Line number 29, add total penalties kung late na. And then, we have the line number 30, total amount payable or overpayment. And then line number 31 is the aggregate amount or overpayment ng husband and wife na, no? The form is signed under the penalties of perjury po. So, sino magsa-sign dito? The taxpayer or the authorized representative or the tax agent, no? And then yung part 4 is the details of payment, kung saan siya binayaran. Yung page 2 naman po ng 1701Q natin is part 5, the computation of the tax due. So, in computing po the tax due, meron tayong schedule 1 for graduated income tax rate, no? Paano po itong graduated income tax rate? We have sales or revenue or receipts, less cost of sales or services equals the gross income, less allowable deductions, no? So, may total allowable itemized deductions. Ano po itong mga itemized deductions? Yun yung meron tayong mga, inisa-isa natin yung ating mga expenses. Ang pinaka-importante lang dyan, pagka nag-itemized deductions tayo, dapat supported po yan ng resibo, no? Wag tayong mag-claim ng mga deductions na wala namang resibo. Kasi madi-disallow lang din po siya pagdating ng tax audit. And then we have the Total allowable itemized deductions. Saan po makikita itong mga itemized deductions? Titingnan din po natin doon sa annual na income tax return. May mga account po doon just like salaries and wages, repairs and maintenance. Meron tayo doon na mga taxes and licenses na pwede na po nating i-claim, no? na deductions. And then we have optional standard deduction na 40%, no? So, kung nag-allowable itemized deductions ka, yun lang yung pwede mong gamitin. Pag nag-optional ka naman, yun lang din yung pwede mong gamitin, no, during the year. So, line number 41 is the net income or loss of this quarter, no? Kasi quarterly nga itong ating form, no, na ipi-fill up. And then, kung meron na tayong add taxable income, kung meron pa tayong mga taxable income na iba, at saka yung non-operating income, and then the amount received or shared income by the partner from general professional partnership. And then we have the total taxable income or loss due to date. So ito yung i-multiply natin sa tax rate in order to get the tax due, no? Sa total taxable income, i-apply po natin yung rate using the withholding tax table, which is, or yung tax table natin, no? Which is, nandito lang po sa baba, the rate is effective January 1, 2018 hanggang December 31, 2022. No? So, mayroon tayong tax table dyan. I-multiply lang po natin itong total taxable income, multiply by the rate in the tax table, so equals the tax due. Pagdating naman sa Schedule 2, for 8% income tax rate, we have sales, revenues, or receipts, or fees. No? And then we have the non-operating income, i-add po natin. And then we have the total income for the quarter. And then add natin yung total taxable income or loss, no? And then we have the cumulative taxable income. So yun na yung total ng mga income natin. And then less natin yung allowable reduction na 250,000. Itong 250,000 na subject to zero rate na tax, allowed lang po ito sa 8% na option rate. Ha? Kasi pag nag-itemize ka, yung 250,000, nandyan na yan, naka-built-in na yan, binabawas na rin yan sa taxable income. So, taxable income or loss to date, and then the tax due. Bakit? Kasi yung tax due, multiply mo lang sa 8% yung taxable income. And then, Schedule 3, we have the tax credit or payment. Ano yung mga tax credits or payment natin? Ito yung prior year's excess credits. Kung meron tayong unutilized pa na credit na in-apply natin last year, pero hindi pa siya naubos kasi mas malaki yung ating tax withheld kaysa sa tax due. And then, yung line number 56 is the tax payment for the previous quarters. Kasi nag-file ka, halimbawa, ng first at saka second quarter, may payment ka doon. Pagdating sa third quarter, ang i-present mo sa quarterly income tax return mo, 1701Q, is cumulative the total from the first, second, hanggang sa third quarter. No? And then, i-reduce mo yan, pagdating na sa tax due, yung mga payment na binayaran mo quarterly. No? Okay. So, creditable tax withheld for the previous quarters. Lagay po natin dyan kung meron. And then, the creditable tax withheld per BIR form number 2307 also for this quarter. And then, the tax paid and return previously filed if this is an amended return. No? And then, you have to show also the foreign tax credits kung meron. And then the other credits or payments, and then total tax credit or payment, no? So yun yung dinideduct doon sa tax due. Tax payable or overpayment, no? Schedule 4, penalties. So charge, interest, compromise, and then the total penalties. And then total amount payable or overpayment. So nakalagay po dyan yung dito po sa penalties, pinapakompute po yan sa BIR kasi meron po silang schedule dyan, no? Na nasa kanila. So, papakompute po muna sa kanila yung mga penalties na yan para permahan nyo ng officer of the day, saka pa lang po yung tatanggapin ng bangko. No? So, we have our guidelines for the 1701Q. No? So, these are the guidelines and instructions. on the quarterly income tax for individual estate and trust, no? So ito yung BIR form number 1701Q. Who shall file, no? Sino daw yung dapat mag-file dito? This return shall be filed in triplicate by the following individuals regardless of the amount of income. So kahit na ano pa yung amount ng income nila, itong 1701Q dapat talaga nagpi-fill up sila, no? Number 1, resident citizen engaged in trade or business or practice of profession within and without the Philippines. So ito yung pwedeng gumamit ng 1701Q, no? And then resident alien, non-resident citizen or non-resident alien individual engaged in trade, business or practice of profession within the Philippines, no? So yun yung mga resident alien, non-resident alien, no? Na meron silang practice of profession or business in the Philippines. And then number 3, a trustee of a trust, guardian of a minor, executor, administrator of an estate, or any person acting in any fiduciary capacity for any person where such estate minor or person is engaged in trade or business, no? An individual whose sole income has been subjected to final withholding tax or who is exempt from income tax pursuant to the tax code and other laws is now required to file income tax return, no? Married individuals shall file a return for the taxable year to include the income of both spouses, computing separately the individual income tax based on their respective taxable income. Where it is impracticable for the spouses to file one return, and its spouse may file a separate return of income if any income cannot be definitely attributed to or identified as income exclusively earned or realized by either of the spouses. The same shall be divided equally between the spouses for the purpose of determining the respective taxable income. So kung hindi ma-identify kanino ba income yan, sa husband o sa wife, hatiin 50-50 po sila. The income of unmarried minors derived from property received from a living parent shall be included in the return of the parent, except when the donor's tax has been paid on such property or when the transfer of such property is exempt from donor's tax. If the taxpayer is unable to make his own return, the return may be made by his duly authorized agent or representative or by the guardian or other person charged with the care of his person or property. The principal and his representative or guardian assuming the responsibility of making the return and incurring penalties provided for erroneous, false, or fraudulent returns, no? So yun yung mga may penalties. Erroneous, false, or fraudulent returns. Compensation income need not be reported in the quarterly income tax return. The same shall be reported in the annual income tax return only, no? So yung sa compensation income. Where and where to file? The return of the taxpayer shall be filed as follows: first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, no? So first quarter on or before May 15 of the current taxable year. Second quarter on or before August 15 of the current taxable year. And third quarter on or before November 15 of the current taxable year, no? So yun po yung when and where to file, no? The income tax return shall be filed with an authorized agent, bank, or AAB located within the territorial jurisdiction of the Revenue District Office, where the taxpayer is required to register. So kung saan nakaregister yung taxpayer, doon din siya magbabayad, no? When and where to pay? Upon filing of the return, the estimated tax shall be paid to the authorized agent, bank, or AB, no? Where the return is filed in places where there are no AABs, payments shall be made directly to the Revenue Collection Officer, who shall issue in electronic revenue official receipt or EROR therefore. So when the return is filed with an AAB, taxpayer must accomplish and should submit BIR prescribed deposit slip, which the bank teller shall machine validate as evidence the payment was received by the AAB. The AAB receiving the tax return shall stamp mark the word receive on the return and also machine validate the return as proof of filing the return and payment of the tax by the taxpayer respectively. The machine validation shall reflect the date of payment, amount paid, and the transaction code, the name of the bank, branch code, teller's code, and the teller's initial debit memo. No? For EFP's filer naman, deadline for electronic filing and payment the taxes due thereon shall be in accordance with the provision of existing applicable revenue issuances. No? So, yung mga nagbabayad ng yung ibang mode of payment. Saka ito sa AFPS, no? Tax rate, the income from business or practice of profession shall subject to the following, no? If the gross sales or receipts and other non-operating income do not exceed the VAT threshold, meaning 3 million, the individual has the opinion to be taxed of letter A, graduated income tax rates prescribed under Section 24A of the tax code. 8% income tax rate based on gross sales, no, or receipts. If the gross sales or receipts and other non-operating income exceed the VAT threshold, the individual shall be subject to the graduated income tax rate prescribed under Section 24A. No? So, yung mga deductions, na-explain ko na sa inyo yung itemized deduction, optional deductions, and the estimated income tax liabilities. No? So, penalties, may din po ngayon sa penalties. Required attachment, no? So, ano yung mga attachment na i-require ninyo? The Certificate of Creditable Tax Withheld at Source, BIR Form 2307, if applicable. And then, duly approved tax debit memo, if applicable. Authorization letter, no? If return is filed by authorized representative. And then, the proof of other payments, no? Summary alpha list of withholding agents. Payments subjected to withholding tax at source or south. And then we have the all background information must be properly filed. No? Okay. So yun po yung quarterly natin na income tax no return 1701Q for business and professional. Guidelines no and instruction for BIR form number 1701Q. Dated January 2018 na ENCS or enhanced version this is the quarterly income tax return for individuals, estates, and trust. No? So with that, I would like to say thank you and please subscribe to our channel. The purpose of our tax training is for you to have a better tax compliance. Good day, everyone.